Hi everybody and welcome back, and it's time for my top 5 most favorite Taken moments of all time. So let's get going on the last 5. And one of them is going to have a tiebreaker. So let's get right to it. Coming at number 5 is one of the best scenes I'll never forget in Taken 3, where Bryan Mills' friends are getting a little bit more of a role in the movie. So anyway, for number 5 is Bryan Mills' pals are going to join forces with Bryan Mills and Kim are going on to this mission together and trying to get the job done. I really love Bryan Mills' friends, Sam, Casey, and Bernie. They were the best memorable supporting characters I have ever seen in movie history. Sam is the smartest one of the group. I will say that Bernie is the comedy relief one of the group, and I'm not sure about Casey. I think he might be another comedy relief. I'm not so sure. But this is Bryan Mills' main three stooges. Well, you could say that Sam might be the Mo type. I think Bernie might be Curly, and I think Casey might be Larry. I don't know. But those guys were so darn awesome, and they did shine in Taken 3. They kick a lot of butt in this movie, and they took their jobs very, very seriously. I'll never forget the part where Bernie and Sam have to do their job when they're carrying out their guns and telling the cops to put their handcuffs at each other and just don't do a thing, I guess. And while Casey has to drive a car and try to pick up Bryan Mills and his pals so they could get the job done. So yeah, Bryan Mills' pals shined up in this movie for Taken 3, deserves to be at number 5. Okay, ladies and dudes, for 4, 3, and 2, I'm gonna add all of my favorite near endings that came from all 3 of the films of the Taken saga. One is memorable, the other is epic, and there's one good near ending that involves the main climax. So let's get right to my 3 most favorite near endings for 4, 3, and 2. Coming at number 4 is one of my most favorite memorable scenes of all time. It came from Taken 2. This is the most touching, but this is one of the most tragic scenes I'll never forget in this movie. And it's the part where Bryan Mills has to talk to that Propoya guy for the last and final time. This is one of the best near endings I'll never forget in movie history. So coming at number 4 goes to the death of the Propoya dude. And I explained this one many times, so I'll cut this short and quick. It's all about where Bryan Mills has to get the job done, try to save Lenny on time, take care of the last 2 Propoya dudes. Bryan did have a brutal fight with one of them. He got beat up pretty badly with some cuts and bruises and maybe a broken whip somewhere. And he has to carry a gun. He needs to talk to that leader of the Propoya dudes for the final time. He said the best dialogue. He said a really awesome speech. And yeah, that Propoya guy said a couple of dialogues here and there. But the best part I love about this scene is the score. The score had truly blew me away. It was very sad, very emotional. It'll bring you to your eye. And almost like the score that came from the Schindler's List. If you listen to that score very carefully, ladies and dudes, that really did remind me of the Schindler's List. I think it's the violin feel to it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the death of Propoya dude, my most favorite near ending of all time, deserves to be at number 4. Alright, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my top 3 favorites, and one of them will have a tie. Okay, coming at number 3 goes to one of the most biggest plot twists ever in Taken 3. And one of the best climactical feels ever in the movie saga history. And you people should be ashamed of yourselves for bashing this poor movie. Curse you, movie reviewers. So anyway, for number 3 is finding out that Stuart is the main enemy for all this time for the Mills family is at number 3, and it came from Taken 3. I was pretty darn surprised. I was pretty darn shocked, and I was 100% right about that no good rich man Stuart. He is the main enemy all this time for the Mills family. And he's the one who caused the Mills family's lives to suffer at the very beginning. I mean, thanks to Stuart, he took everything away for Brian Mills. He took away his family. He took away their freedom, even Lenny's freedom. And thanks to Stuart, he's the one who had killed Lenny. And I was pretty darn surprised to notice that. I just knew it from all this time that Stuart became the main enemy for the Mills family. And we should all know it sooner back at Taken 1. Yeah, Stuart is nothing but a big threat to the Mills family. And what's he gonna do? You know, he's using Brian Mills as a puppet and trying to take care of this job. And, you know, he wants Brian Mills to be arrested and all that stuff. And he kidnapped Kim and took her to that airport. And I have no idea where he's going. But Brian Mills has to do the best he can to get there in time and rescue his daughter. And I'm glad that Brian Mills has a second sweet revenge on Stuart. And I'll never forget that part where there was one of the most epic action sequence I will never forget in this movie, where Brian Mills has to drive his car very fast, and there was a part where his car went through to those 2 wheels and the airplane just fell down, and there's a lot of shakiness here and there. But anyway, that action sequence is definitely one of the best parts I love about Taken 3. And that climactical feel is definitely one of the best parts I'll never forget in Taken history. I'm glad that Brian Mills had finally took care of the job and arresting Stuart for good. So finding out that Stuart's the main enemy for the Mills family deserves to be at number 3. Alright, for the number 2 tie, this is one of my most favorite epic moments I'll never forget in the Taken saga history. One is my favorite fight scene, and the other is the car chase scene. So it's hard for me to pick. So for number 2 goes to the fight scene at the near end of Taken 1 and the epic car chase scene from Taken 2. I just can't tell which one is the all-time best. For the car chase scene, it was pretty well done, pretty well fast-paced. It's so darn epic in so many ways. And I'll never forget where Brian Mills and Kim had that big, giant, wild goose chase between the cops and the Propoyo dudes while they're trying to get to the other side to get to that American U.S. Embassy on time and just tell everyone what had happened to them. Like, around later on in the movie or something like that. But I really enjoyed that car chase scene. Out of all the car chase scenes I did see in Taken 1 through 3, the Taken 2 car chase scene is the most epic one of all. And as for the fight scene in Taken 1, that was so darn epic. I love this near-end fight scene where Brian Mills has to risk his life to rescue Kim on that whatever boat it was, and he has to take down all those evil sex trade dudes as soon as he can by killing them with a gun or fighting them with his particular set of skills. And I'll never forget when Brian Mills did get beat up by one of those guys. And that fight scene between Brian Mills versus one of those Propoyo dudes who's a sex trade business person, that was definitely one of the most beautiful fight scenes I will never forget in Taken saga history, if you know what I mean. So anyway, the fight scene from Taken 1 or the car chase scene from Taken 2, they share the tie at number 2. And finally, ladies and dudes, here we go. The most important moment that everybody has been waiting for is my number 1 most favorite Taken moment of all time. And I already know what it is, and you already know what it is. So I'll say it. Coming at number 1 goes to the phone scene that came from Taken 1. Yes, ladies and dudes, the phone scene is definitely the most greatest scene of all time for the Taken saga. And we will never forget what really happened in the phone scene where Kim is truly going to get taken by those evil purported dudes and used her as a part of the sex trade business. And I'll cut to short about this one. The most epic thing we will never forget in the Taken saga history is where Bryan Mills said the most epic speech ever in movie history, but I'll have to cut this short. I don't want to read the whole dialogue, but I will say those 3 important lines. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you. So yep, ladies and dudes, to cut this short, and we already know what it is, for my number 1 best Taken scene of all time will always be the phone scene. Definitely one of the most epic parts ever in the Taken saga history. So there you go, ladies and dudes. Those were my top 10 best Taken moments of all time. I hope you enjoyed this list. And join me next time for my next top 10 list to come. I will do like my top 10 most favorite movie memorable supporting characters of all time, or my top 10 best memorable scenes in a movie. So be prepared for one of those movie reviews or top 10 lists I will do to come in the near future, and I will see you all later. Sayonara.